finding innovative ways to instill old lessons and taking learning far beyond the four walls of the classroom. It's time to recognize that great things are happening in teaching and put it back on your list. Don't try to convince yourself otherwise. You had it right the first time.
Find out how you can make more at teach.org. Make more. Teach. Brought to you by Teach and the Ad Council.
Welcome back. You're listening to The Secrets of Success. I'm your host, Bill Horan, and today we're speaking with Rosanne Thomas, author of Excuse Me. Rosanne, you also mentioned in your book that, for businesses, it's very expensive every time someone leaves. They have to go out and hire, they have to train someone, they have to bring them up to speed, and they hope they're going to be at least as good as the person who left, who probably was a pretty good employee because they now moved on to usually something better. But you bring out a great point. You say people don't leave jobs, they leave people. Can you talk about that?
Absolutely right. People tend to want to stay where they are and maybe find other opportunities within the organization. But if it becomes intolerable, they will leave, and it's traumatic for everyone. Certainly the person who feels that there's no safe place for them at this particular organization, but for the organization itself, it could be. I've got tens of thousands, maybe up to $60,000 on average to replace one employee on average. And so that's very expensive. And of course, they incur health-related costs. They might incur legal costs. They certainly, incur absenteeism and all of these things. So their productivity goes down, morale goes down, shareholder value goes down, and all for want of just some basic civility and respect on the job.
Now, one of the things I would ask you, can employers, or do you recommend employers hire for attitude over experience? Typically, we say, oh, look at that. She worked at this job. They were here. They had this background. And, good experience for the past 10 years. This is a golden resume. But maybe they're not too personable. Is it better to go for the attitude or go for the experience?
That's what some very successful people say, to hire for attitude, train for technical skill and experience, train for skill, because the feeling is that you can, in fact, train for skill, but to instill in someone, the qualities and virtues of respect, humility, and consideration for other people, we tend to think that those are harder, especially as someone's gotten into, with his or her 20s or 30s or older, and we're thinking, can we actually teach these people a different way of looking at other people? And I don't know if I think we can, but I think many employers think it's just easier to hire someone with the good attitude right off the bat.
I'll tell you, I'd rather have a whole bunch of people with good attitude. I think I'd do business with them more likely because they can always look something up or find it out from someone else. But if I don't like them or they're surly to me, they're kind of going to lose me right away, and I'm not coming back.
Well, it was interesting. I would say to my classrooms, if you have a good attitude, it almost doesn't matter what you're doing wrong. You will succeed. If you don't have a good attitude, it doesn't matter what you're doing right. You will not succeed. 85% of our success is determined by attitude. 85%.
Oh, I'm going to write that down because that's a key number that I think people should be aware of. And obviously, if it's so high, that's a good score. I was happy if I got an 85 on a test in school. So 85% is a winning number. Now, can companies reward this good behavior? Is there a way that you've seen companies making these people stand out? So people say, look, you gave Joan an award, or Jackie, they're always so friendly. Maybe I should be a little more like them?
Mm-hmm. Well, you can. And in fact, I think companies want to do this. Reinforce the good behaviors. People who are sort of caught doing something right or considerate. Maybe it's cleaning up after a meeting, being that person who takes care of the cups and saucers, whatever happens to be on the table, or the person who holds the door open for someone with an armful of books, or the person who just literally looks up and says hello and smiles at someone in the morning. Tiny little things make such a difference. And yes, employers can reward that. They can employee of the month or of the quarter, and maybe there is some sort of monetary award that goes along with that, or some sort of gift. But reinforcement is key. I think it's critical.
Rosanne, once again, I'd like our audience to know, if they just tuned in or missed the first part of the show, our guest is Rosanne Thomas, Her book is Excuse Me, The Survival Guide to Modern Business Etiquette. And as you can see, this is not just holding the door or using the right spoon. And that's what I thought it was first. And I thought, oh, this is going to be an easy book to reject. And then I started reading it. Oh, my gosh, this is why people get the job. This is why people lose the job. We better talk about this on the show. Rosanne, tell us more about where we can get the book and the website.
Sure. So our website is protocoladvisors.com, which has a lot of information about the book and about what we do in general. The best place, I think, to buy the book, one of the best places, is Amazon.com, which gives a lot of information about reviews and purchasing and all that kind of thing. So I think that's the best place to go for single purchases.
And I would say, especially, let's say, business students who are looking to get out in the workplace, to be aware of this and to show employers that you're aware of it, as you'll see from an example Rosanne will give us in a few minutes, can really shine the light on you that you're the future and they better start hiring people like you. Rosanne, the biases that we have, is there some way businesses are addressing those, either through videos or something on the cell phone or like TED Talks, that people are aware of them? They're unconscious, but they're still prevalent?
I think that they are, and businesses are going to great lengths to develop, inclusion strategies, and they are supporting all of the various populations. So I think there is recognition of what might be happening, and certainly, hopefully, less tolerance of it. A company can no longer look the other way. It's just too costly for them, and it doesn't do anything for the employees, obviously. But so yes, I think videos might help, TED Talks might help, anything at all that raises the level of consciousness about the fact that we all have unconscious biases, probably, and that they might be getting in our way.
And I told you or talked to you before the show, you have a brief anecdote about a gentleman named Tully in your book. And I thought that brings out a few great aspects. Could you tell us about that story?
Sure. Well, this young man, he was fresh out of a liberal arts school in Maine, and he was going for a high-tech job. And, he didn't necessarily have the technical skills that maybe some of the other folks looking for the job had, but he went in there, he prepped, he learned everything he could about the organization and about with whom it was he was going to be talking. And what he did, he dressed appropriately, he had energy, he had enthusiasm, a big smile on his face, and when he got in, he had to interview with 5 or 6 people that day, and with each one, he made them feel that, how lucky he would be to be working for them and how much he would contribute to, their particular cause, I guess, what they're trying to do. And so he related to things that they said. He sort of tried to establish rapport, find things in common, and he charmed them. He charmed them all. And sure enough, he got that job offer. He got the job offer that day.
Now, just to go the opposite example, there was another gentleman, I think, came in. He was dressed appropriately and everything, but he had his cell phone. Can you tell us? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
So, yes, this young man came in for a job interview, and he had everything going for him. He had his, the skills that my friend was looking for, and he dressed appropriately, but he came in and put his cell phone down on the desk. He didn't use it, but sure enough, I understand, actually I've learned since, that just having a phone on a desk or a table can reduce empathy between people. And the interviewer did notice the phone. Everything was okay, though, until the phone went off, until the phone rang. And the applicant didn't answer it. He turned it off. But the interviewer said, that was enough to break their sort of a cadence, if you will, and sort of the rapport that they were establishing was gone, and he did not get the job offer.
And several things about that stand out to me. First of all, why he would even put it on the desk, etc. I think I would put it on silencer or leave it out in the hall someplace, whatever, because at that very moment, I can't imagine anything unless there were family illness or something, which I would have explained to the interviewer, do you mind if I do this? But unless there was a family emergency or something like that, what could be more important? He's going for the job. He achieved the interview, which is a step in the right direction. And I was honestly very surprised that an interviewer would be that hard on someone today. But I guess that's that important enough to the interviewer, and we have to take notice of that because they're in the driver's seat.
Well, they're in the driver's seat, and, our interviewers have many people to choose from, and that person, like you, just might have been wondering, why is this cell phone out? I mean, I'm not about to get relegated to the back seat here in favor of an incoming call or something like that. So it raises questions, and I'm always advising everyone to put their cell phone away, leave it somewhere if possible, if you think you're going to be tempted, because it does you no service during the interview process.
And I can remember someone I used to work with, and they were very insistent if they ever saw a typo in a resume, that killed the applicant. It wouldn't matter if they, had the greatest history or background in the world. That typo eliminated them immediately. So I guess we just have to face it. As you said, there's different people in the world. We have to go on what they're expecting and work within those boundaries. And that's what we're faced with today.
We do, and I know what you're saying. It's unfortunate that this cost him the job offer, but the fact of the matter is, interviewers are looking for ways to disqualify because they only have so many jobs, and we don't know what it is that they're going to pick up on. But something like that could be one, and there are a number of things that they could pick up on that you never know.
And that's a great point. They're looking for a way to eliminate, make their job easier. Rosanne, I want our audience to go and read the full book. The book is called Excuse Me. It's by our guest, Rosanne Thomas. And Rosanne, once again, please tell us where we can get the book and the website.
Thank you so much. The website is protocoladvisors.com. And if you're looking for single copies, Amazon.com is the best place to go. If you're looking for bulk copies, bulk orders, that would be 800 CEO Read.
Rosanne, again, the book is Excuse Me. Thanks so much for being with us and helping our job search and making it so much easier. To our audience, we'd like to let you know that you've been listening to The Secrets of Success on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. I'm your host, asking you to please join us again next week at the same time when we'll continue our journey to success.